He's big.
Yeah. Larger than charge.
Who's big?
Jeez.
Jeez.
Jeez, big. Jeez, they are roasting you.
It's a lot of man right here. All right.
Hard to see right now, but we'll show you a couple things out here. I know it's dark, but just in the morning when you're leaving, you can kind of look around if y'all want to step out here just a minute.
Hello.
I don't know if you all are fairly young, so you may not remember. Sears and Roebuck used to do catalog homes where you'd order a house, a whole house. That was the first one right there.
Oh, no way. Okay.
The founder of the town was James Young. That was his, what was it, 1796 is when the town was founded?
The town was founded in 1796. That's his house was built around 1788, something like that.
And that was his homestead, and then directly across from him, that big white one with the columns on the front, that was the James Young Inn. This right here was the summer kitchen to our house at one point. We don't own that property anymore. The people that own this property actually owned this house before the people we bought it from, but he used to be the town historian. For those that don't know what a summer kitchen is, they used to have the kitchen separate from the house, just not only because of heat in the summertime, but also because of fires and such. This house over here was the original Ditto Pruitt / Ditto Lansdale. It's been known as both. That was the original house. Same person owned all the land and eventually owned both of these homes. That one is also very haunted. If you Google most haunted house in Kentucky, it's a toss-up between that one and this one.
Okay.
That was the original Civil War hospital. The river is directly behind the house. We didn't have any actual battles right here, but there were river boats that would come down and bring wounded over there. That's where you would get the limbs being cut off and that kind of things.
Oh.
We were a Civil War hospital, but we were more like dysentery, influenza, those kind of things. That's not to say that none of those people might have got brought over here, but that's primarily what we were just those kind of illnesses. On the other side of that house, I'd recommend you drive through the town tomorrow when it's daylight before you leave and look at some of the historic markers.
Okay.
There's a yellow house that was Sherman's headquarters. Do y'all know who General Sherman was? He was the one that went on to burn Atlanta and won the Civil War. General Tecumseh. William Tecumseh Sherman. I can never say his name.
Okay.
But his headquarters were down there. This was a Southern sympathizing town. So, a lot of Confederate families, but the Union is the ones that came in and took over. And, when they would come to town, they'd throw families out, take over their houses, that kind of stuff. His headquarters were down there, but a lot of his command staff stayed in this house. He was only here for 2 weeks, and then they deemed him insane, sent him off to Jefferson Barracks. Lincoln came along and said, no, I need him to win the war. You need to get him out. So they brought him back, and this was his last stop before he went on to burn Atlanta. That was the original telegraph office. It was also a bank at one point. There was Abraham Ditto, which owned this house at one point, owned a salt warehouse where that vacant lot is. There is actually a historic marker over there. That's where it sat. And we'll talk more about that salt warehouse here in a little bit when we get upstairs. And if you see this marker right here, I'm sure y'all have heard about Lewis and Clark expedition.
Oh, yeah.
Their first stop was in our backyard.
Oh, my gosh. Okay.
This is for their gunsmith. I can never remember the gunsmith part. He was, I can't even remember his name now.
John
Shields. Why can't I now even remember his name? I've only done this 550 times. That is a marker saying that this is the birthplace of John Shields. Well, we thought, or where his home was. At first, and you can't see it right now, but they actually have a historic cabin back there that they brought in from somewhere else just because he collects antiques. But when we first moved in, we saw that and we thought it was referring to that cabin back there. Ernie got under the house to do some work, and there is a rock wall under our house. He actually sat right here, and our house was built on top of the foundation of his cabin.
Oh.
So it was like to the bottom of our stairs, and halfway to that room is where his cabin sat.
Okay.
Do you want to tell them a little bit about the railroad stuff so we can get them back inside so they don't freeze to death?
And what about, oh, well,
The
not
stagecoach.
necessarily the railroad.
Stagecoach.
Stagecoach. The Louisville and Nashville Turnpike, which basically turned into Highway 31W that runs all the way to Mobile, Alabama. But it was originally just the Louisville and Nashville Turnpike, which was a stagecoach route. And there was a ferry crossing on the other side of this house, between the house next door and the James Young Inn. There was a ferry crossing down there and a landing where they would cross the Salt River, and then the Louisville and Nashville Turnpike went right down Elm Street, then kind of veered out and around over that way and on down south and over Muldraugh Hill. So coincidentally, Elm Street here happens to be the 38th parallel. If you're into ley lines and those kinds of things, if you know anything about elements of a haunting, we've got all of them here in this town.
There's actually a sign down that way that has it marked as the 38th parallel.
Okay.
And Fort Duffield is also, we can see.
Fort Duffield is right
up
up on
on
top of the hill right there.
Yes, so we.
Civil War fort that was built to protect the supply lines that, because when the Union took over this town, because it's right on the river, was right on the Louisville and Nashville Turnpike, this was a major shipping port for supplies and everything as the Union advanced south. So they built the fort up on top of the hill to protect all the supplies that were being stored here in town and transported out here. So come on in before everybody freezes.
We also do tours and investigations out of the fort up there as well.
Okay.
It's an earthen fort. There's no actual big structure up there, but it's definitely worth seeing. Right.
So the house was built in 1841. There's some toss-up on that because there was actually a permit bought by Abraham Ditto to build a house in 1823 on this plot of land here. When Haunted Discoveries came to film, they were researching and they said it looked like construction started in 1823. But the paperwork we've got says 1841 is when
And
a
it
man named
wasn't-
Brown finally finished the construction.
It wasn't originally the Ditto House. It became known the Ditto House years later when the Ditto family owned it.
Bought it back.
The guy that built it, Brown, never actually lived here. He built it and then got into some trouble
Legal
financially.
battles.
Yeah, and had to
And
sell it
lost
right
the property, and Guthrie's got it for $1,500. And so Julius Guthrie and his wife Sarah lived here. His brother Jephthah and his wife, I believe her name was Mary Bell, lived here for a while. Both of those ladies died here in the house during childbirth. Sarah and
Mary.
But then Julius Guthrie went on to remarry.
Actually, we're still learning history. We keep finding them.
I-
Ella, actually, I think was the wife. Mary was the little girl that died.
Okay.
Okay.
So there's some, we might not be 100% on all that because sometimes we hear a story and we go with it and then we find something else that
Yeah, we've got a bunch of papers in
And
there
you're
that
welcome to
we've
go
gotten
through
from the town
all that.
historian that we're still trying
Okay.
to go through and piece together, but it's written in that old script that's very
Okay.
hard to interpret. You
Yeah.
can look at, I mean, it's sitting on the
Yeah,
table.
you're welcome to go through
any
anything
of
and
that tonight.
look at it.
But since the house was built, it's been a private residence. It's been an inn. It has served. This town gets flooded a lot. We got flooded back in April, and during the floods, this was the high end of town, and so the houses around through here became used for basically everything, from jails to banks to whatever. Well, this house served as a bank, it served as a post office, it served as a railroad ticket office.
And this is one of the original mail tables from when it served as a post office at one point.
Yeah. But it's also been an inn, it's been a brothel.
Those ladies
They're still here too.
They're still here. We'll tell you stories about that
They
when we
might
get
interact with
upstairs.
What do I do?
And just
Lay on the
we
bed
found
with a couple of dollars.
I'm just saying. We got
It
somebody that
works.
can interact with and find out.
Hey, we tell you a story when we get upstairs. We'll show you the room.
Yeah. But the stories of paranormal activity here go back to the early 1900s. I mean, it's not, we're paranormal investigators and we bought it, and it's not like all of a sudden we have paranormal stories about it. No, I mean, I've got newspapers in there from the 90s that talk about the history of it. There's a book that was written back in the 90s that talk about the
Somebody
hauntings.
was pulling on his bag just now.
Already?
It felt like I could feel the weight of it.
Was it not him?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
I believe him. He said it was.
It's
Yeah.
this house is haunted, is what they tell us. We're thinking about bringing some ghost people in. But no. Since we've been here, we've experienced everything from full-bodied apparitions to voices to
They interact. Some of them
Objects
interact. Some
moving.
of them are residual. We've seen, and I mean, we can tell you, we could talk to you for hours about things we've encountered here. But it's important to remember we're here all the time.
Yeah.
We have had people come that's seen a shadow or two and been like, "Yeah, we should have been more active for you," but we can't make it happen.
but
Right,
they're thrilled
right.
because they don't live in Kentucky's most often. They
Yeah.
have one experience and they're like, "Woo!" And we're like,
Yeah.
"Well, it's kind of quiet tonight."
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll move on to the next room. Remember, I told you this was the last stop for Sherman before he went on to burn Atlanta. Well, during one of the floods, the 1937 flood, his desk washed out of his headquarters down there because they had kept it down there and ended up in this front yard, and they didn't want to take it back down here. So this is William Sherman's desk. Probably the last
Grandpa's
place.
going off upstairs.
Is it?
Yep. Hear it?
I hear it.
Yeah.
It's the nursery. So.
Interesting.
But this is probably where the burning of Atlanta was planned. We're just guessing that, but since it was his last stop, you can see the ink wells and everything, but this came out of his. And this guy here was just $1 at the antique store. We have no idea who he is.
But he's cool.
Yeah.
One of the soldiers that was up at Fort Duffield, they had found his writings, and somebody took the time to type it out. So that's actually a diary from one of the Fort Duffield soldiers. And then
he
here's
talks about coming here several times. Widow Guthrie, after Julius Guthrie passed away, his widow would host tea parties for the command staff, Sherman's command staff here. And they would have the band. That guy was part of the band from the 9th Michigan. And they would come down here and play for those tea parties. And there's a whole lot that goes goes into that too, but it's a whole other rabbit hole to go down.
There is a book here that they wrote many years ago, The Spirited and Haunting History of West Point. There's a whole chapter dedicated to this book in there.
To this house.
Or to this house. Sorry.
She's had several strokes.
I've had several straight. It's been a long day. It's labeled 206 Elm Street. This is 204. They live at 206, and I think the author kind of got confused.
Well, when she got done writing, I know because I asked Carol. She got done writing that chapter, and then she said, "Oh, I need your address to put in the book." And Carol, they live over there. She said, "Our address is 206 Elm Street.
And that's what it's labeled in there.
The house is at 204 Elm Street."
Yeah.
Little story about these rocks here. We'll incorporate the hauntings into the history. If you'll notice when you go up the stairs, there are crystals laying on the stairs. There's a reason for that. One of the stories that's in this book, way back in the day, the children would sit on the top of the steps, and it was a game to throw the rocks and try to guess which step it would land on and stuff. That's kind of one of the things they did. Well, the neighbors, when they lived here, started finding random rocks around, and then you'll hear rocks falling down the stairs and stuff. And so when we moved in, we started finding rocks. And I didn't know about this story. And I was like, where are these rocks? And I was blaming him. And then we
She
read...
blames me for everything. Though.
Well, it's usually his fault. But we read that story in there. So we left before we moved any of our furniture in. We was in here cleaning up, and we were leaving for the night. And I said, we'll be back in the morning. If you want to leave us a present, feel free to leave us something. We'll find it in the morning. Next day we came in. This rock here was on the 3rd step going up right in the middle. These are all rocks that have randomly showed up in this house. will come in. There'll be one laying on the couch, right in the middle of the floor.
Wherever.
So we put the crystals for them to have something pretty to play with, and they will randomly move. There were some steps that did not have crystals on them, but people keep bringing them toys, so now there's crystals all over the steps. But there is one that went missing that showed up over there near my Gettysburg rocks at Jasper.
Red Jasper was on one of the steps.
That was on one of the
and it
steps,
disappeared,
and it showed up
and
over
then we
there.
found it over here by the Gettysburg rocks.
When we get upstairs, there's a chair up in the foyer up there that has like a howlite, I think, underneath it. Or a tuxedo, something or other underneath it, because they had originally started on the bottom.
Tuxedo Jasper, okay.
It started on the bottom, ended up on the second flight going up. Then it ended up on the railing up there, and now it's up under the chair, so it just keeps moving. We had one that disappeared, was missing for 3 months. The lady came and spent the night. It showed up under her pillow in the children's room. These cabinets will all open. Sometimes the cabinet will pop open. Rocking chairs rock. The nightlight story. We need to tell them the nightlight story. I'm going to get in this drawer over here so I can show
Look
you.
at the light right now.
Well, there's the lights on. It's got to do, I think, with the brightness. That's different. That is not paranormal, right?
I've
not
never noticed
paranormal.
it doing that.
It does that because it's based upon the shadows and stuff.
Okay,
That one is not paranormal.
all right.
We had this one in when this story happened, and you can see it has to actually be turned on and off. We came in one evening and it seemed, everyone, we don't go around investigating this house every night. We live here, But we live right on the river. When we have storms, tornadoes land out there. I mean, it's crazy. So we came in and it seemed pretty dark in here. And I was like, let's do some, let's get the flashlight, see if we can get some communication or whatever. Could not find the flashlight. So I was like, well, I'll just do an EVP. So I'm sitting here and I've got my recorder and I start asking questions. That light starts flipping on and off and you can hear it clicking.
Yeah.
So he starts.
So I was sitting over here when she started. Well, I grabbed my phone and I put it on video and I sat right here where I could get the light and her in the video, right? And this is going on. I mean, it kept going after I started the video. The light coming on in response to questions, going off in response to questions. And I'm like, this is awesome. I'm getting this on video. And then my screen went back to the home screen. And I was like, wait a minute. And I cannot find the video anywhere.
Oh, man.
I go scrolling into my gallery and the last picture taken is there. And you would think it'd be of that, right?
It's from behind him going that way.
The picture was taken from behind me going that way. And you can see the corner. When you lighten it up, you can see
it's a little hard to
corner
see
of
the
this.
corner of that, but that's not the craziest thing about this picture. I took a picture. Now this picture I'm about to show you is not the paranormal picture because I wanted a comparison. This is because I've redecorated in there a little bit. This is what that room looked like over there before the picture that ended up showing up. That's what it should have looked like, okay? The picture that came back, oops, is that.
Okay.
It's all gone.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna delete this middle one because that one is in the way.
Yeah, that everything up there is gone. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll go back. Original, what showed up afterwards. What it should look like. What it looks like. Everything on the mantle was gone.
It was taken going that way.
Yeah, it was going that way.
Okay, so from
From
to
right
here.
back, now it's
It was
kind of
taken
hard.
from
Okay.
like where you're
Yeah.
standing, going that way.
It's kind of hard to
Gotcha.
see because this
But I
picture's
was
so
sitting
dark.
here.
But when
Yeah.
you lighten it, it's really hard to tell. But you can kind of see like the clipped, and I mean, you see the back of that chair
Yeah, but it's just
There's the
facing
REM
right
pods.
there.
There's again.
rim pods going off.
Before that, I hate seeing something like that.
Did you?
Yep.
We get that a lot too. Ladies, usually ladies, but we hear men occasionally. So anyway, that's one of the weird things that has happened in here. Do you want to go turn that light on? I'll turn. You'll see us turning lights off as we go through the house because it is old and breakers will blow, but it's
Right.
not that big of a deal. If something does, we can flip it back on. It's just a pain in the butt.
Yeah. Interesting.
So, yeah, we found that under the steps when we were changing filters on the furnace, that sign from back when it was a bed and breakfast.
Oh.
Now,
Awesome.
this was the other picture that was in that original
It was
picture.
sitting up here.
It's a piece
Okay.
of wood. These are the two things that disappeared in that picture, and we think, and this is just us trying to figure out what could have happened, that both of those are from when the time the house was a bed and breakfast. Back during that time period, the neighbors, Carol and Cookie, owned it, and they were kind of freaked out because not everybody lives this life, and they were trying to coexist. But religious artifacts in this room, crosses were turning upside down, getting thrown, that sort of stuff. There's nothing evil here. Let me just start with that. I think, there's something here that doesn't necessarily like some of that stuff because, as you can see, we tempt fate. Things have been glued back together because things have flown off the walls, yes. But during that time, they did an exorcism on the house. We think that was the spirit's way of, they removed those two things.
They didn't.
Yeah, I heard it again.
They removed those two things because they did not like the time that it was a bed and breakfast and because of that. So, but we explained to them, this is part of the history. It's staying. You're welcome to stay too, but we're going to coexist and you can't be tearing things up. So, the flowers.
Oh yeah. Like she said, we go out back every time there's a storm coming because we're those people that if there's a tornado, we're going to go look at it. You know what I mean? And we've seen 3 cross the river since we've been living here.
Oh, wow.
But storm was coming. We went out back, sat there and watched. Got real windy and everything, so we came on in. Another one of those times where the house just felt juiced. Felt like the storm energy had just.
Crazy. I just
Yeah.
put new batteries in their toys, so they're excited.
But anyway, it just had that feeling, so we decided to get some equipment out and see what we could get. We set a couple of things around. One of the things was I set a REM pod right over there on the organ. Right
This
there
is
where she's
a
pointing.
organ from 1800s funeral home, by the way.
Oh, wow.
So,
And we stood in there where we could see all the equipment that we had set up, and we started asking questions. We had all the lights out, but there was enough ambient light in here that you could see if anything was going on. And about 15 minutes, we got no interaction at all. So she said, well,
I
I'm going
went
to turn the
that
lights
way to
on.
turn the
and
lights
we'll
on.
get the REM pod and everything. We'll go upstairs and go to bed. And so she goes that way to turn the light on. I come over here to get the REM pod, and as I reach for it, in the dark, it goes off. Well, then she flipped the light on. So it was working. It went off when I got close to it.
Yeah.
It should have. She flips the light on, and there's a pile.
of wet crepe myrtle flowers sitting beside it from our tree out front.
Oh, wow.
And you can see it was
my
wet.
gosh, yeah.
We would have not came in and poured water on an 1800s
No.
organ. But you can see there was water.
And the door never opened. Nobody
Yeah.
came in.
We've kept them.
We were out back.
We looked up the meaning, and it's like peace and friendship and
And
protection,
welcoming.
welcoming.
Oh,
So we
okay.
kept them. That's
Yeah.
why. But it
It's
was
like a
just,
gift that we just can't get
you
rid of.
can still kind of see a little bit of the watermark there. So
Yeah.
just because it's an antique, we're not going to come in and pour water.
Oh,
on
no.
it.
Wet flowers on it intentionally
Yeah.
just to create a ghost story. No,
Yeah.
that's not
So,
how we roll.
anyway, the guts aren't in it, but we kind of like it. So.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
gorgeous.
And just a little, history stuff here. This is an actual exorcism type
Oh, wow.
thing. And that's an actual doctor's table from the 1800s out there as well. Anything tonight that you all want to look at or touch, or so, we're not those people. We don't care. Have at it.
Okay.
I've raised 4 kids. He's
Make
raised
yourselves
1.
at home.
Yeah.
I mean,
This chair will sometimes turn around and face
Oh.
that way. Yeah.
We're not weirdos about setting cups and drinks down either. We don't care.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just live.
Right.
We do have a dog and guinea pigs in there, just so if you hear something shuffling around in that room, it might be our dog. We'll let him out. He's not vicious or nothing. He just likes to get up under our feet.
He will eat your face.
He's old and he'll fall. He'll try to follow us upstairs and he'll fall down the stairs. So we have to keep him up while we're doing this. It's a little warm in here with this heat. We have a fireplace in most of these rooms. This is the only one that's functional. The other ones are just capped off. They're functional, but they're capped off. This room, a lot of times one of the things we do is we'll sit in there if people are having a hard time getting activity. We'll sit in there and turn the lights off, and you can see shadows moving around in here.
Okay.
That cabinet there opens periodically. Actually, 2 weeks ago, we had people here and we were sitting in there and we said, can you open that cabinet back here? And we all heard it click. We saw the light because we usually keep that light on. We saw the light
Reflection of the light
came in and it was standing open. It did it right when I asked.
Wow. I wonder
Look,
who's-
I hear him in there crying right now.
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
Go ahead.
I was just curious.
Yeah, I will tell you. I will tell you, just so because we are honest and no reason to lie. If you only
Oh wow, yeah, I can already tell.
if you only close it from up here, it's not closed down there. It will pop open.
Okay.
So make sure that when you
Top
close it, that you've got it
Okay,
closed.
yeah, I can just tell it's hard to open just by the force.
These cabinets
These things
will open, and
will
they're
open.
hard to open too.
You
but
can
they
hear
will.
Yeah.
Did you guys see the episode of Haunted Discoveries that was filmed here?
I don't think so.
I'll show
Okay.
you there now. This video that I'm going to show you, you will hear birds chirping. Okay, it's that door right there. However, and you'll see when we get around there was no airflow because there's 2 more doors going to there. He did have a window open because you'll hear the birds. The window that was open was way back here. When
Okay.
Haunted Discoveries filmed, they actually tried to debunk that so they could use it, and they weren't able to debunk the video. But I'll let you go ahead and explain why you decided to film while I find it.
Well, it was like 30 minutes after I got to the house for the first time after we got the keys from the previous owners.
Okay.
I came in here and they had left a mess. So I'm going through opening all the doors and looking in all the rooms to see how much cleanup we're going to have to do before we can start moving our stuff in. I went into the kitchen and opened the refrigerator. They'd had the power shut off for 2 weeks and had a refrigerator full of meat.
Oh gosh.
I mean, it smelled like a morgue.
It was nasty. We
So
thought we
I
were going to
opened
have to
that
throw the
window over
refrigerator
there.
away.
And I thought, wait a minute, I might have some garbage bags out in my truck. Because I did have garbage bags in the truck.
That's aside the point. Just get to the point.
You told me to tell the story, leave me the hell alone.
The garbage bags have nothing to do with this story.
They have,
Just do it. Just do it.
I went to my truck and I came back with garbage bags. I got about right here, and that door that I had left open right there slammed shut behind me. And I
Fred,
stopped,
you're okay. We'll let you out in a
and I was
minute.
like, okay. So I went over and
You might as
I'm
well
not-
let him out so you
Okay.
can shut because
Dog reveal.
there's the monster. So I opened the door, and as you can see, the door, it doesn't swing back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh.
So I left it open, and I went into ghost hunter mode, and I stood back over there, and I started video.
And this is the video that he got.
It's about 40 seconds of video, but.
Can you close that door again, please? This one here in front of me?
He just farted.
Why's he gotta be so gassy?
There you go.
Oh my gosh.
All the way.
Oh my gosh.
Thank
So-
you.
Wow. And it even stopped.
Yeah,
And
it
then
stopped,
kept
and I said,
going.
all the way, please.
Yeah.
And it,
He is known across the
Wow.
nation as the farting dog. Like I'm telling you, that's his way. That's his love language.
Are you too? That's okay.
That is his love language.
That's okay.
he isn't here.
He's just a baby.
Another thing kind of pertinent to the house, I mean, I guess very pertinent to the house. I had obsession, I guess you could call it, with Newport, Rhode Island.
Stars taking pictures of the dog.
You got all night. He'll model for you. I had an obsession with Newport, Rhode Island many, many years ago, just based upon a whole other lifetime of stuff. And I had bought these because they were nautical themed. I had bought these like 30 years ago or something. And never looked at the names of them until I moved into this house. Well, one of the mansions up there is Belport Castle, is what it's called, and Oliver Hazard Perry Belmont actually owned that house at one point. Well, we're hanging these up 30 years later in this house, and Ernie says, "Did you ever look at the names of these?" And I was like, "No, why?" O.H. Perry, that was Oliver Hazard Perry Belmont's dad. Okay, so I was like, well, let's look these other guys up. This guy, James Lawrence, was actually his tutor that taught him and his best friend, David Porter. David Porter's ship, he was a Union officer, that's a Union ship, was actually parked out back behind this house.
Wow.
Yeah.
David Porter is here. Now we have a ghost here. We called him Mr. Porter, but we're thinking it was Slaughter now, because when you see him, he looks like Abraham Lincoln. He's super tall, top hat, tails, got that weird beard. And we asked Cookie originally what was his name, and he said it was a guy that went by the name of Porter. Well, we actually got an EVP before we put 2 and 2 together. We had Rob from the Get Haunted Network here that was doing an EVP, and he says, "Mr. Porter, was that you that I saw?" Because he saw a shadow go through there. And we have an EVP, and I'll find that later for you guys. It's David, not Mr. Porter. Is what comes across. And
Wow.
He goes, "Do you have a David Porter here?" And we were sitting, and then we both were like, "David Porter!"
Wow.
So, but there is a picture, and I'll show you. It's on that Sherman's desk where the dollar picture of the creepy man is. There's a little family portrait that family, the Slaughter family, lived here at one point. It was called the Slaughter House. And the dad in the background, I don't know if he was a Slaughter or if his last name was.
His last name was like Higginbottom or something like that.
But it's all written on it. It's hard to read because, it's that weird writing, but
yeah.
I think it's him that we actually see, but apparently this guy's here too.
Interesting.
I still call him Mr. Porter when I see him because that's what I've known him as this whole time, but
Yeah.
he is a prankster. He likes to scare you, but you might walk up in that door here and after a while, step up there, and there's a man standing right here.
Oh.
And when you see him, you go, and he just smiles and he turns around and does this and walks away. It's like he does it on purpose. And he likes to mess with Ernie. He gets Ernie more than anybody.
Oh, wow.
Ernie, we can look at that later. Come on, let's get him through the house.
Hoskinson.
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 All right.
Hi, little baby boy. You just a baby. You just started.
Yeah.
Are you just a clumsy old man? That's okay. Look at you
I don't know if
go.
there's any smokers in the bunch, but we do have a door out to the back here that, let me cut him out real quick. So we have a place out here.
Where you can smoke back here.
Okay.
Smoke your
You know,
cigarette.
all you smokers.
You gotta go outside. You're tooting. Come on. Go out there for a few minutes. We'll let you back in shortly.
He's like, Mom, it's cold.
We'll let you back in a few minutes. You'll be okay. But yeah, there's a porch back there that has like a little flower cup thing that we let people use for smoking. And this is this one door and then another door into their room. So there was no airflow that was coming through to make that, door shut.
Yeah.
This part of the house, was it this whole room here that was added in the early 1900s?
Yeah.
Because this was a porch. The reason there was a window over there where the dog was, that was like a porch out there at one point. That was the outer wall. 1902 was when this part of the house was added. Was it made a kitchen then? Do you know if it was a kitchen then? If that's when they?
I assume that's when.
That might be when they brought the kitchen in. So and they did just. We think at one point the slave quarters might have been back here because the way the neighbor described it, a step down, because we stepped down into the dining room. It was like a step down in status. Oh. We thought her name was Lily Lewis at one point. There is a Lily Lewis here. There's a Lily Lewis Lane across the way. She did the first black school, the first black church here in town. But when we did the timeline, there's no way she was the one that was here.
She wasn't the slave.
She wasn't the slave that was here, but there was one
She might have
here.
worked for the Ditto
I
House.
turned that air down a little too much. I'm not turning it back up. It's cold up there. But she worked for the Dittos. Like, she started out as a slave. Her and her husband both were here. They treated them very well. I always hate to say that because it sounds like you're condoning it. But once they were freed, they stayed on. They built her a shack out back. Her husband was a farrier. We've actually got a couple of horseshoes in there that we found in the backyard where her shanty was at. But she stayed on and was actually like ran the household and was the head person here. So we'll go up here to the Riverview Suite is what we call it. This is one of the most active.
Denise's obsessions.
Yeah, it's my fangirl room is what it is. This is one of the most active rooms in the house.
Oh, I see.
All these stuff are so small.
And this all can be got to from that front hallway. You don't have to take necessarily those crazy steps to get in here.
Okay.
As you can see, everybody's like, oh, your son's room. I'm like, no, it's mine. It's my room. We got a story about her too. We'll tell you in a minute. Just a little housekeeping before we go into the specifics. There is a bathroom here that's fully functional. There's just not a door here, so you'll have to make sure these two doors are closed. This goes in, however, to the bigger bathroom. So.
Oh my goodness, that is a gorgeous tub.
and we can get to it from the other side. So
Oh
you have to
my.
come through here to get it, but there is two bathrooms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said, look, it's Jason Momoa. Look who's right above him.
See, everybody
my
likes
gosh.
my Marvel room. He always gives me a hard time.
So much money on Comic Cons and all that just so she can go meet all these people.
Sebastian Stan wrote that. It says, I'm with you till the end of the line.
Oh wow.
So, see? He's just jealous.
Sebastian Stan also has a picture of him with you in a sign that he's holding up that says "Help me."
Yeah, that sign is over there. All right, this closet supposedly has a watcher, is what he's called a watcher. He kind of stays back in here. If there's anybody, there's nothing evil here, but if there's anybody that's an asshole in here, it would be this guy. He doesn't like people. I think he's just like an old man, an old curmudgeon. He just wants to be left alone, pretty much. We have had people get pushed out of this closet. We have had, like, if this door is like partially closed, like our son used to actually use this room, and his girlfriend was sitting on the bed over there, and she saw somebody peeking through the door at her.
Oh, like that. Oh.
Yeah. She says, James, what are you doing? You're not being funny. James, knock it off. You're not funny. He yells up from downstairs, who are you talking to? It's like, if you're down there, who's up here?
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know.
John Podesta.
It took her about 2 months to come back after that.
Oh wow.
This is where the ladies have showed up, by the way. We don't really know what was in each room. We just kind of themed our rooms for our ghosts. But we had a Night Song Paranormal out of Tennessee here, and they have one guy on their team, and he was in here. And before we started doing the Estes method, he's standing there, and we're talking to all the different people. We're not sure who we're communicating with, and he's like, y'all, I don't know how to say this, but I'm just gonna say it. He said, it feels like somebody's tickling my balls right now. We took the K2s, lit up right at the crotch for like 10 minutes. Every piece of equipment would go
my
off
gosh.
at his crotch. So a little while later, we're doing the Estes method. Now that's not to say they won't show up in other rooms, but we had them mostly in here. A little while later, we're doing the Estes method, and one of their women is under the Estes facing the window. She's got her headphones on and everything. She's looking that way, or blindfolded and sitting that way, and he's on the bed, and she obviously doesn't know what's going on, and he starts asking questions like propositioning or whatever, and she's throwing out these random things, but they can be related, but not necessarily. Well, he says, okay, this is creeping me out, I'm getting up. He stands up. She says, lay back down, I'm not done. So the ladies do show up here. So the next time he came, he brought $104, and he didn't get no action, so I don't know.
They're not cheap, huh?
I guess not.
Casey Bell. We call her Casey Bell because there's enough Annabelles in the world. Have y'all ever heard of where are you all from?
We're kind of Tennessee.
So have you heard of the Elizabeth town, Gates of Hell?
Yes.
Okay.
Casey Cemetery.
Yes.
Have
yes.
you ever been there?
No, but it's on our list.
Okay.
Eventually we will go there.
There's a reason she's Casey Bell. It's on, if you go there, you think you're on the wrong road. It's a farm and there's all these no trespassing. It's a city road, public road going through there, county road, I guess.
County road.
So you're not on his property, but he doesn't like people back there, so he makes it look like you're on his property.
Okay.
It's like 3 miles back, 1 lane gravel road, almost like you need a 4-wheeler almost to get back there, like a 4-wheel drive, because the divots are so bad.
Yeah.
You come out at a dead end straight at the cemetery, it's like a little roundabout where like 3 or 4 cars can get there, but the cemetery is right there. We always carry guns when we go, because if you scream out there, ain't nobody gonna hear you.
Right.
You are in the middle of nowhere. We're up there, and of course, depending on when you go, there's gonna be people there because it's an urban legend. Everybody wants to go.
Yeah.
We had an author here back in July. He stayed for 14 days with us. His thing is he writes fictional horror novels.
I saw his,
Brian Paoni.
I saw his videos on your Facebook.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. He wanted to go visit Casey Cemetery while he was here because he'd heard about Gates of Hell. So we took him out there, and there were people there when we first got there. They were somewhat annoying, but they were like, "Oh, we'll stay out of your way." We were like, "Good." Well, they're over there shining their flashlights all over, and we're like, "Oh God, I wish they'd just leave."
Yeah.
Well, they finally leave, and Todd and Leanne was with us, me and Ernie, and then Brian and his friend Hannah. We're all out there, and when they all left, we were like, because it is such a weird place, and those people were kind of odd. I was like, let's walk up there, make sure they're gone, make sure they didn't let Jim Bob sneak off into the woods, to fool with us later or something.
Yeah.
So we're out there walking all the way around the cemetery and around the cars and everything. So all 6 of us are out there looking to make sure nobody's out there. So we walk back up into the cemetery, and you can see if anybody comes up with anything. We'd already traveled all that ground, saw everything. They decided it was time to leave, so it was like, okay, let's go back to our car and get out of here. And as we're walking back to the car and go to get in the car, hold on here. I finally got smart and categorized all this stuff so I wasn't looking all over. This was in the grass beside the car as we're getting in the car.
Oh.
Wasn't there when those people were there. Wasn't there when we walked out to look and see.
Yeah.
But she showed up.
Makes it weird.
Yeah, go
As
back.
if it's not weird enough. We are friends with Wade Nesper.
Okay.
The people who have Annabelle.
Yeah.
Wade Kirby lives at Ed and Lorraine's house that Matt Rife and Elton Castillo own.
Yeah.
He's lived there for years since Ed and Lorraine owned it. He's been the caretaker of the house. And
That was the week after Dan had died.
Oh my gosh,
Dan
yeah.
Rivera.
And we had been on the
Yes.
road with Wade, or on the phone with Wade right before we went up because we were checking on Wade. And
Right.
when we're talking to Wade, Annabelle's there. She's hearing that we're
Yeah.
talking to him.
Yeah, I mean, he's right there with Annabelle. We're on the phone with him talking, and then we're like, well, we're heading off to Casey Cemetery. We'll talk to you later.
And then she
That
shows
night,
up
this shows up.
at Casey Cemetery. So,
All right.
coincidence? I don't know.
That's something, that's for
Of
sure.
course, everybody was like, I'm not taking it home. I'm like, I will.
There's
You're
no
like, I'm
idea.
not. So I am going to turn this.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Make sure it's not.
Well, did you
I'm gonna turn
see-
it off because it gets a little hot. The
Did you
thing
see
is
that
about
one?
it. Here I
The
am. Over there.
502.
Everybody's like, why are you
That's from
over there?
That's from Waverly. That's the
It's
that's the one
Like
of the
really
rooms.
nice.
Oh, okay.
So where did it come
Oh
from?
my gosh, it's green sleeves.
So anyway,
The song is
Oh,
green sleeves.
another story about this room. We had Rob from Get Haunted and Chris Smith from Get Haunted Midwest. They both own like those networks and companies. Came here to spend the weekend, and Rob usually sleeps in that room. Chris was sleeping in here. They own haunted networks. They're both scared of their own damn shadow. They left the door open so they could be, close to each other.
They wouldn't be alone.
So they wouldn't be alone.
Yeah.
Afraid to sleep alone.
So Chris closes that door and latches it because he knows about the dude in the closet.
Mm-hmm.
Well, about 5:30 in the morning, he thinks he hears Rob up, and he's like, why is he up in there? And then he hears Rob snoring. He's like, that's not Rob. So he closes his eyes real tight because he's like, I don't want to see who that is. And he hears footsteps come in, stop right here like somebody's looking at him. He hears them walk around the bottom of the bed. He hears that doorknob rattle. Then he feels somebody try to get on the bed.
Oh my gosh.
Then they stand up, walk back around, and he says he hears them come here. And he's at this point he's like, you know, tight.
Right.
Because he's like, don't want to see. He hears the steps creak down, and then it gets real quiet, and he says he knew that they were standing behind him, and then all of a sudden the bed said.
Oh my gosh.
So he jumps up and goes out on the back porch to everybody.
He wound up being awake from that point forward, and
Yeah.
didn't.
Our son stayed in here and had a lot of the footsteps. He didn't want his bed over there because he didn't want to see who was coming up the stairs because he heard whispers throughout the night. He said that door will open and close. Sometimes I'll close it and come in and it's open. One of the pictures, and this is one of those, could it be paranormal, could it be pareidolia? I don't know, but just another group that was here investigating this room back when our son was still in here and had his stuff in here. That TV there, he was sitting at this desk, and let me see if I can get it to, it kind of looks like somebody in the TV.
Right there.
So,
I missed it.
this is the murder room.
Casey Bell.
And this room, you know, is right across from the main bathroom, and you can see the front door there, so this is the other way to come up here. This is into the ladies' room, but we don't normally open that door because that door's not fitted real properly to that.
But in 1903, Thanksgiving, November 26th of 1903,
Yep.
there was a gentleman staying here. This was the Riverview Inn at the time, and it was also a brothel.
So
at
grab
the
your
time.
bag, you jumped to it. I was like,
Just didn't want it to fall off. But anyway, it was also operating as a brothel at that time. Well, there was a man here that was staying at the inn. He was a traveling life insurance salesman. His name was Silas Rodman. And he was always a very neat gentleman, always had his suit coat on and his hat. He was very dapper and neat. Well, he went missing Thanksgiving night. Police came around, started asking if anyone had seen anything. There were reports that he had been seen behind the house without his suit coat, without his hat. He was looking disheveled and
which was very out of character for
out
him.
of sorts, is how he was described, you know, the language they used back in those days. And so they did a search. They never could find him.
There was actually a black man that said he was walking along the riverbank out there, and two men said, look, I think that's a soldier over there passed out. Why don't you go over there and roll him and see if he's got any money on him? Black guy said, this feels like a setup, no thank you. So they think that maybe they were trying to set somebody else up for the murder.
Yeah. They did a search, never could find him. River froze over. They dynamited the river. Everything. Never could find him. The following spring,
May of 1904.
May of 1904, his body washed up at the park down here, just a few houses down.
But when Haunted Discoveries came and were asking those questions, they had a tripwire out, and he kept responding like he was not cheating, like that's a lie, like he wanted to clear his name. But Silas was very active for them that night. We will come out of this bathroom sometimes and see a man in a brown suit standing in front of the fireplace, just kind of looking down in it. Sometimes he'll look up and he'll actually wave at you. We see purple sparkles in here sometimes. There's another man here. We don't know who he is. We see him in this room, and we've seen him in the hall a few times. He's got like the onesie, white, dingy, butt flap. Like he always says, it's a union suit. But
Well,
when
that's
you say,
what they're called.
but when
damn
you
it.
say union suit in a union, Civil War union, people think union suit.
I'll show you a union suit when we get up there.
But he's got the little butt flap, dingy things, and his hair's like crazy wild, and he always is the same reaction. You don't expect to see him. You come around the corner and you go, and he goes, and then you both zip off, and now he always just and
He
zips.
is afraid to see you as you are to see him. We've seen him. Guests have seen him. He's here a lot.
But he's definitely, he's more scared of us, I think, literally. Silas is buried at Cave Hill Cemetery in Louisville. We did find his grave, so we went and visited him. We visited him a couple of times, but yeah, he's still here.
And this is just Denise's witchcraft stuff.
Yeah, that's my witchy
Pay no
stuff.
attention.
I like the Avon bottles.
What's that?
I like the Avon bottles.
Yeah. Yeah, those little bags.
Yeah, they're awesome.
We do see a lot of times, somebody, when we come out of this way to go down at night, we'll see somebody standing in that doorway.
Night suit.
History-wise, these floors, going back to that, I told you that salt warehouse across the road over there.
West Point used to be a thriving river town. It was
You can sit on any of this furniture you want to, by the way, just that one's got like the bottom coming out of it,
Okay.
Don't sit on that.
But any furniture downstairs, anywhere you see, you're welcome to sit.
Anywhere but that chair. There was a lot of trade that went on here. The river behind the house that comes into the Ohio is called the Salt River. It's called the Salt River not because it's salty, but because there was a lot of salt trade that came down that river. There were salt mines and salt licks and everything back there where salt was mined, and it was warehoused here across the street and sold. Abraham Ditto had a couple of businesses in town. He had the salt warehouse and he had a lumber business, and he built flatboats similar to the ones that the Lewis and Clark expedition used. But there was a ship that came from New Orleans that was loaded with sugar cane. And they came up here, they sold their sugar cane. Their plan was to sell their sugar cane, use that money to buy salt, and go back south. And the price of sugar was not nearly what the price of salt was in those days, because salt was very valuable. It was, the only way to preserve meat without refrigeration was to pack it in salt. So they didn't have enough money to buy the salt that they needed. They bartered with Mr. Ditto, and he cut them a deal. He said, if you take out one of the decks of that ship and sell me that cypress wood off of that ship, I'll give you the salt that you need. And they said, sounds like a deal. This is cypress wood from that ship
Oh,
that he
wow.
built the house out of.
We used to have the downstairs floor like this as well, but was it the 37 flood that did
37
that one?
flood.
It got up to that landing right down there,
Oh
so
my
those
gosh.
floors down there went in at that
Wow.
time.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, if you do drive through town, there's a little Veterans Park. It goes behind. There's a blue museum down there. You can't miss it. It's bright blue.
Just a few doors down the street.
But there's a little road that goes back there. There's a flood pole back there, and you can see all the different floods up through there. 1937's at the very top, but it was actually 6 feet taller than that. That's just as tall as the pole would go.
Oh, wow.
So those floors down there went in the after 1937, but these are the original. This is what we call the ladies' room. We just picked that because this dingy wallpaper was in here. We have water damage over this summer. We just got a new roof, so
One of those
Oh, yeah.
tornadoes took off part of the roof.
Oh,
ignore our
gosh.
water damage.
So we got some water damage from it that we haven't repaired yet.
This right here, butt print. We flatten this out. We come in every couple of days, and somebody's been sitting on the bed. That was not us. It just,
It happens.
It happens. I think Brian actually
At
did
least
one of
about
his
once a
videos
week.
about that.
Oh,
It
wow.
always looks like they're sitting there looking out the window.
Okay.
When you're down there, you can actually sometimes see somebody up here with the curtain pulled back looking out the window. We do see a lot of ladies in here now. Whether this was actually a ladies' room or if they just gravitate here because it looks familiar to them, I don't know. But
It's just the floor. Okay.
we'll see them sometimes standing here looking at us. Sometimes they'll interact. Sometimes they'll wave. Sometimes they're just in here doing their thing. You'll hear us.
Sometimes they'll just scare the piss out of Brian.
Yeah, Brian about crapped his pants night number 1 being here.
Yeah, first night that Peter was here, he was sitting on that little settee over there out in the hallway and looked up and saw a lady standing here by the bed, and he jumped up and ran down the
He's
steps.
going, no.
And Denise and I are like, what? Because we didn't see her,
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know, I can't go anywhere. I don't know what's down there. I know what's up there. And we're like, what? There's a woman in there.
Sometimes this seat will be pulled out. Sometimes you'll see somebody sitting in front of this mirror. We try to put things in specific places just so we know if they've moved. This brush will move that way. Sometimes it's turned over. This actually came out of Lily Lewis's house over there when Ernie had to go and help. He works for the city part-time. He had to help tear it down and clean it out, and he brought that home from that. That little, I think that little silver thing up there came from Lily Lewis's too. This was my grandmother's jewelry box, and he came to bed one night and was like, there's a woman in there, looks like she's looking for something. And I said, well, I'll see what she wants in the morning because I'm not getting back up. I came in here and this was open and it was empty at the time, so we went and got some things to put in there so they have something to kind of play with. This is where the big light is, just because this is not wired, but all of these lamps work. So I'm going to turn this off though so we don't blow a breaker when we turn on one of the other lights, but you're welcome to plug that back in or just use these. And tonight, if y'all want to turn out these candle things, like going to bed or whatever, I don't know what room y'all want to sleep in, we have like these little controllers laying around.
Okay.
And if, of course you can yell at us if you need help with any of it. Children's room, you
I didn't
already
see the
heard.
suit of armor when it came on.
How?
I'm stupid.
That's the first thing I saw. How did you miss that?
Well, because I was busy looking at the really nice furniture.
These are where all the REM pods are that you all
Okay.
heard earlier.
So their fields are pretty small right now.
And there is a creepy,
Oh, picture sketch.
that will go off if you vibrate the floor, just so you know.
Okay.
This is off right now, I guess. Maybe the batteries need to be
Mason,
changed
is this
in that
your
one.
room tonight?
There we go.
Yeah, that's your room.
Picture sketch. Oh, Jackson, everything.
Okay, I got that off because that's super loud and annoying. This rocking chair actually came out of the Roosevelt Hotel in New York City. That's very haunted, so, but it will rock. We got this at the antique store. We're pretty sure that's a post-mortem photo.
Yeah, that's horrifying.
Oh, yeah.
We have seen him here, and we had somebody else. I haven't seen her, but we had a guest ask about the little girl with the short little bob haircut, and she hadn't been up here yet, and she seen her in the hallway and saw her after we came up here. She was like, yeah, that girl in the picture. We're like, yeah. So they're here.
Okay.
These jacks, as you can see, like I said, patterns, so we know if they've moved.
Yeah.
This ball has not came off the bed yet, but it was up here. It's made its way down there. These balls have been up under these pillows. The jacks have moved. That rocking horse rocks. The marbles down there, that they used to pull the ABCD, the C used to get pulled down all the time. It hasn't moved for a long time, but we, let me find this marble picture. And some of these toys are things that people have actually brought for the kids. The marbles came from a woman that came down from, where did she come from? Pennsylvania? She came from...
She's one that came with that Tammy Ham, isn't
No, that would, never mind. She came from Pennsylvania, I'm pretty sure. Sherry Pungrance and Lisa Contraband. That was Lisa Contraband.
Yeah.
So what makes that go off?
Standing in front of it.
Oh,
Motion.
okay.
I'll go ahead and turn that off so it's not coming off very... We came back from being gone for the weekend, and look where that marble's at.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Yep, we got a right up in
And
there.
it's not easy to balance
No.
if you have hands.
Correct.
We actually, obviously we wrote Mary and the little heart and stuff on the chalkboard, but we have had instances where I wrote hi and a line showed up. We'll clean it all the way off and a piece of chalk will be pulled out and there'll be squigglies, like not heavy handed, but like light little squigglies on it. We do see kids often running in and out of here. We hear the pitter patter of little feet. We've had that little wooden thing there roll across the room. When you're going up those stairs, there's a mirror in that foyer. If you look in that mirror, you can sometimes see the kids peeking through the thing at you or running back into this room. Little piece of history. Back in the day, they used to use newspaper to wallpaper rooms.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The neighbors, when they bought this house, the paper for the day after Lincoln's assassination was hanging up there, and they tore it up, getting it down off the wall. It shattered. Ernie, do you want to tell your little story about this little thing?
Yeah. Okay, that was the first toy that we bought them.
Just because it was kind of like the time period. It don't do anything except make noise.
Yeah.
Just heard something downstairs. Anyway, that was the first toy that we had bought them. And she's a travel nurse. She works out of town a lot, and I'm here by myself a lot. And I'm a big, tough ghost hunter, with many years of experience on television shows, and books, magazines, and lots of YouTube videos
Well, you
with
get
millions
on
of
with it.
viewers.
Good.
I'm a famous paranormal guy, so I'm not scared of shit, okay? But in the middle of the night, one night while she's out of town, I started hearing that. And I got up and I kind of came out of our bedroom and opened the door and peeked around here, and it stopped. And I said, "Were you playing with your toy?" And it started doing that.
Oh my gosh.
I shut the door and locked it and pooped in my pants. Yeah, it was hard to sleep after that.
Our room is on the other side of this door, and since I've put this stuff here, this door hasn't really opened any. But before I put this here, and our bed used to be on the other side of our room, and there, this door between us would open a lot. Not so much anymore, but we do occasionally hear this at night.
Yeah.
So, which goes to our room next. Our room doesn't have a lot of stuff that happens because we try to set those boundaries, but that's not to say that nothing happens in there.
Right.
And speaking of which, Ernie does have to get up early in the morning to go to work, so he will probably go to bed about 1 or so. So if you all want to investigate our room, you're welcome to. But
Okay.
and you're welcome to
Before I
investigate
go to
after he
bed,
goes
please.
to bed. But he's just going to be in here after 1 o'clock.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to come in here
I
with him.
prefer you not investigate while I'm
Yeah, we can do that before you go to bed. That's
I
fine.
didn't hear. You can investigate the rest of the damn house, please.
Yeah.
No.
We have children that come in here. We have a rule that if the door is closed, you're not supposed to come in here. Well, over the summer, it got really hot in here, so we got to the point we were opening it for the air circulation. So we don't usually close it all the way to where it clicks because it's a lot to mess with that doorknob. Well, they figured out if they open it, then the door's open and they can come in. So they push it open. And we're like, no, it's still closed. So we had that issue. You will feel little hands sometimes, and it's not just our room, it's all the rooms. You'll feel like somebody trying to get into bed with you. I rolled over one night and there was a little boy standing here looking at me, and I was like, it's too early, you need to go back to bed. And he just kind of hung his head, then walked on out of the room. One night I was woke up because, sometimes I feel like I hear somebody walking in the attic. And there's nothing but spray and insulation. I mean, you can walk up there, but there's no way except one little hole out in the hallway to get up in there.
There used to be steps right there, but
Yeah,
the previous owners, for some reason, took
okay.
them out.
But it would be impossible for somebody basically to be up there walking around now. But then you will also hear people, and a lot of the complaints, or not complaints, but claims of people that have stayed here is they hear somebody walk up to their door at night and their doorknob jiggles, but nobody ever comes in. We used to have a man, he hasn't done it for a while. You'll hear him come up to about the 3rd step. You'll hear the boots, and then he'll yell up, "Are they ready yet? Are they ready yet?" He does it twice every time. He went out there one night and said, "Ain't nobody going to be ready tonight. We ain't going nowhere. We're going to bed." And he hasn't done it since. So, one night I woke up, though, hearing those footsteps, and I was laying there trying to listen, and I started hearing what sounded like somebody shuffling around the room. And I'm wanting to wake him up so he could hear it because it was so blatantly obvious. And I was like, oh, I wish he could hear this. But I knew it would startle him awake and he would, start.
I would punch you in the lip.
No, he would startle and scare whatever it was. You don't punch nobody there, buddy. So I just laid there and listened a few minutes. And then finally it was so loud I turned my light on and looked around because I was like, is there a mouse in here? Nothing. And it stopped when I turned the light on. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go back to sleep. So I lay there and I'm starting to go back to sleep. And I feel him get up and go to the bathroom. And he pulls the door closed when he leaves. Well, when he comes back in the door, I hear, "Whoa!" And I jump up. I'm like, what? I've been listening to him walk around for the last hour. And he was looking back in here.
Yeah, I don't like that. I was not expecting that.
One night, and at first I kept saying the alien baby. But
That's how she described
I
it.
described it as an alien baby, but the more I think, we were a hospital. Kids back in the day, they didn't know how to handle different illnesses. It could have been a kid that was super malnourished, hydrocephalus, because it had a big bulbous head. It's kind of grayish tint, long skinny arms, long skinny legs, but it had a diaper on. And it looked like, if I were to compare it to a kid, it'd probably been about 4 or 5. I mean, it wasn't like tiny, but it was bigger. I'm walking in, just the light from the hallway, 9:30 at night, bringing a laundry basket of laundry in here, and I hear the bed shift, and I turn around and I look. I'll have to show you what I saw because there is no words to describe this. I don't get scared ever, like ever.
She's an idiot.
And I see this thing, it sets up and it does this, and we make eye contact. And at this time, I'm like, I don't know what I'm looking at. And it raises up and it crawls down over the bed like this.
Ugh.
I managed to throw the laundry basket. I turned the light on my way out the door. I don't know how that happened, but he heard me screaming all the way back in the dining room. Haven't seen it since. We have in all the rooms, things get unplugged. When Brian was here, his laptop got unplugged. We had some guys come down from Connecticut. Where were they all from? Connecticut, Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania, and Georgia.
They were setting up equipment in the kids' room. Mark set up his DVR, got his stuff plugged in. By the time he got it plugged in and walked downstairs, the camera for the nursery was already black. He was like, well, let me go back up and check it. The cord was unplugged from the wall, going right in the room and laying on the other side of the bed. Rob has had his hearing aids. He wears hearing aids at night. He's had them unplugged twice, staying here.
Charge them overnight.
The first time they unplugged, he has a brick that he had his phone charger plugged into and his hearing aids. When he got up the next morning, the whole brick was 4 feet away from where it should have been. He fussed a little bit. Guys, I need my ears. Please, let me plug these in. So he plugs them back in. He comes up to check on them in about an hour. Hearing aids are plugged in, but the phone cord's unplugged and rolled up and laying on the bed in the murder room. So we have a little bit of everything here. I'm sure we'll come up with more stories as the night goes by.
Yeah.
But that's about, the front door will open for you. If you come up to the front door and your hands are full, they'll open it for you. Todd had that happen twice a couple of weeks ago. So, but you're welcome. This switch here is hanging here. The one going into the nursery is hanging right here. And of course, all the lamps are plugged in and you can utilize those. There is a REM pod in there on that desk beside Casey Bell. I didn't point that out to you. I don't want that to scare the crap out of you. And you can see the crystals here and that one. Where is that crystal that was under that? Is it still? Oh, there it is. The crystal up under that chair there.
It was up under the chair.
It's moving again.
Back that way.
Oh, we didn't show them those. Just a little bit of history there of those uniforms.
Civil War uniform that was made for one of the officers here by a lady that lived in the James Young Inn down the street.
Those pants over there are
Handmade
super.
uniform.
You can imagine wearing those when it's 100 degrees outside
Ooh.
there.
Wool.
So,
That's.
but that's
You gotta get a
basically-
mannequin to put this stuff.
We do, yeah. We will get the grill fired up. You all make yourself at home. Go ahead, walk around, look around.
Can you touch the K2?
Dirty.
What?
I noticed the,
Nothing.
Ah! What was that?
He's big.
Yeah. Larger than charge.
Who's big?
Jeez.
Jeez.
Jeez, big. Jeez, they are roasting you.
It's a lot of man right here. All right.